Hi y'all, it's AGP here. And as you guys know, this past weekend we had the Tokyo Game Show and we got a lot more info and gameplay on Death Stranding, which we've been waiting for. I know a lot of people are still like, we're really confused and there's still a lot of questions we have. I'm here to really just break down the 50-minute one. So that was day one. He had 50 minutes of gameplay that you probably heard about. I'm here to break that down because he did give us a lot of info, although there are still a lot of questions. I feel like we've gotten enough info now where you can at least have a decent feel of what the game is going to be like. I'm going to do another reaction video, probably to the 30-minute one, and then another breakdown video like this. But if you like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And, we're going to get into this because there's actually a lot to talk about. So, let's do this.
Sam, we want you to go west and finish what Emily started.
Now, I brought this up in another video, one of the other videos I made, where I was talking about what it at least seems like we're doing in the game. It does seem as though physical connection is what the game is based around, because if you saw the briefing trailer, they show you that you're trying to travel to different cities to literally connect with using that Cupid, the necklace around his neck, to literally connect terminals from one city to another. And that's why the name of the group is called the United Cities of America, which was before the Death Stranding event happened, was a thing. Everybody was connected, and that after the Death Stranding event happened, everybody was disconnected. So it seems as though that it's like about a physical connection, but I feel as though Hideo Kojima is also not being completely straightforward, that he's also making it ideally about having a mental and emotional connection. Like, they're just as important as having a physical connection with other people. He's trying to create a game where people, I think, connect throughout the world in the game, but they're also connecting throughout the world in real life. Really getting people to understand the importance of getting along, or at the very least understanding one another, even if you don't necessarily agree. An example of this would be in the demo, we saw that the multiplayer and the single player is connected, like they're integrated. Like, in other words, if you're trying to travel somewhere and you may see a ladder, or you may see a resting station, or you may see a station where there's music playing, and it could be left behind by another player that you don't personally know, but it'll tell you the person's name. Assume it's their gamer tag. It'll tell you the person's gamer tag and who left it. And every time you use something that somebody left behind, they get likes. So it's like you're kind of connecting with people that you don't know at all. Like, in one part of the demo, they show him going across not a mountain, but going across a little gap. I mean, there's kind of a mountain, it's like a break, but you going across a gap using the ladder, and to go meet one of the preppers who he actually picked up a delivery for in the game. Sam didn't know the prepper, and nobody knows who left behind the package in real life and in the game. But out of the kindness of his heart, the way put by Kojima, you choose as Sam to pick up the package and deliver it to the prepper. When you leave, we'll get into that more, but when you leave that prepper, you see that there were two other ladders left behind. So there was a ladder that wasn't yours, and there were footprints that weren't yours. And when you use the other person's ladder to get back over the gap, that person got likes, and you have the ability to manually give people more likes to show your appreciation. So a few moments ago, obviously, I brought up the side mission that is showed off in the 50 minutes of gameplay by Hideo Kojima. And it's one where, obviously, Sam picks up a package that was left behind by another player. Again, the multiplayer and single player being integrated, picks up a package that was left behind by another player and delivers it to the prepper, which he didn't have to do. And when he does that, he forms this physical connection with the prepper, and the prepper's location, the necklace that's around his neck. He puts it in the terminals, and it connects that terminal with the rest of the terminals that are a part of the United Cities of America. So he was able to do that because the prepper that he brought the package to really appreciated the fact that he brought the package, so he agreed to connect that way. The more important part part about that situation was that he sent down the package and the prepper sent up a harmonica. Now, if y'all don't know, the person that was the hologram in the demo is an actual musician in Japan. I don't know his name. I'm gonna try and look it up, and I'll probably put it in the comments or the description down below. But that is kind of funny because it shows that Hideo Kojima also is having people connect with even famous people through this game who they wouldn't normally be able to connect with, because obviously people that are famous, you usually just see them on the screen somewhere. You don't know them personally, but you may really love their work or their music. So it shows that he has people trying to connect from all different backgrounds and things of that nature, which is also why I think he uses so many famous actors and actresses. And it just shows that sort of connection with people. And that harmonica that was sent up by the musician, or the prepper I should say, was used a little later to soothe the BB, which affects your health and your energy, because obviously Sam and the bridge baby, which is the baby on his chest, are connected and they're doing this journey together. And anytime the baby is stressed out, you have to comfort it in one way or another like you would any normal baby. So that harmonica makes it even easier to do that. It's one way to soothe it. Technically they said if he didn't have the harmonica, he could just whistle. I prefer the harmonica. The harmonica sounded beautiful in the demo. So that's there. That shows a little bit more of the connection situation.
それすると BB がいいねくれる。いやもう超ノリノリですよ。めっちゃ喜んでます。はい。まあ2人で旅してますから。はい。はい。めっちゃ喜んで。
Now, the reason why I feel like being alone in the world of Death Stranding is somewhat metaphorical is because they make it a point that you are walking around this desolate world where there's really no other human interaction, there's really no other humans. They're either hiding or they're separated in one way or another, but they give you an action to call out knowing that there's nobody around, and you usually just get an echo back. To me, that's so interesting because you can then also call out and get an echo back, but you might see something that somebody left behind for you, such as the ladders that we discussed earlier, or the package, or a resting station. So I think it's just giving you the thought that even if you can't see somebody going through the same stuff you're going through, doesn't mean they're not there, and you're really not alone when you think you're alone. So it's an interesting concept, to say the least, that Hideo Kojima has come up with here, because I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose, and that is really what the meaning of this game is in the first place. Also, if you happen to be in an area that you feel like is desolate and is unpopulated, but it's near one of the preppers' locations, and you call out using the action, you will actually get a response from the prepper if you've made that connection already. And the idea is to go back more than once to make these deliveries to the same preppers all across the country, because the more packages you deliver, the stronger your connection becomes, and eventually the people will come up from the basement and they'll greet you personally. Because if anybody didn't know, all the holograms that you see in the game, whether it's Die Hardman or it's one of the preppers, they're actually in that location. They're just, the person is under whatever establishment you're in, and they are just talking to you through some kind of technology with showing up as a hologram. But if you make a strong connection with preppers, which is the idea, a really strong connection with preppers, they will come up and greet you personally, and I'm sure you'll get something special in return that can really help you on your journey. Also though, just a side note, if you didn't know, packages do get damaged in this game. So when you make deliveries to these preppers, or anyone else for that matter, you want to make sure that the goods are not damaged, because you get less appreciation if the packages are damaged. And they make that pretty easy because they have repair spray, and there are even spots where you could stop, and if somebody built something there, it'll clean your packages while you rest, or while you rest and listen to music. So that is an important thing when you get this game. If there are packages that are damaged, repair them junks. So the reason why likes in Death Stranding is such an important concept is because, again, we're talking about showing appreciation and connection, and in everything that you do, likes are involved. So like earlier when we were talking about another player leaving a ladder, that ladder got likes. That person actually left 2 ladders. One got 29 likes, the other got 14 likes. Then the shelter that was used in the demo by Sam was a shelter built from another player, and they got likes for him using that shelter. When you do stuff with the baby, the bridge baby, the baby gives you likes. So I think the concept of that is just that people understand likes as appreciation, because as you all know, there's a reason why we all have our social media platforms, and all of them, you want followers, you want subscribers, and you want likes, and likes show that you appreciate something from people that you don't even know. So that's a cool concept as well, because it's intertwined so deeply with our society the way it is today. So mules, y'all. So mules in this are those guys in the yellow suits, the ones that look like the damn CDA monsters from Monsters Inc. You know, right here on the screen. Yeah, that. Those guys are there just to really steal your packages. They are not there to kill you. They're one of our many enemies. They don't actually harm you physically. They just want to steal your packages. We don't know to this point why they want to steal your packages. It could be just for resources. Maybe they want to form their own connections. We don't know. But there's a reason why in that one trailer where you see the rainfall come and they're chasing Sam, and then they stop and they turn around and they dip, because they have nothing to do with the BTs, who we'll get into next, because the BTs will kill them too. So they don't want any problems there. But naturally, they're just there to steal your packages. Now, when they steal your packages, the camp that we saw in the 50-minute demo that Sam was infiltrating stealthily, they really just store the packages that they steal there. So if they take yours during the game, you probably have to try and pinpoint where their camp is. It's probably going to be the closest one to wherever you got your packages stolen from. And you'll probably have to go in and get your packages back. But there's also a lot of other packages there that could have been stolen from other players around the world who were also playing Death Stranding. So it's fun to kind of highlight those and see what packages were stolen, because you could end up getting something that could really help you. You may even have the ability to return it to another online player. Who knows? You also see him switch from a power skeleton to a speed skeleton, which is why later on you see him being able to run next to the truck, because that thing can move. So the power skeleton is for carrying more stuff. When you switch to a speed skeleton, you can carry significantly less. I think it's about 155 kilograms less is what you could carry. But if you have that floater that follows you, you know, you might be a person like me who prefers speed over power. So I would want to use the speed skeleton and then have like a floater just in case I ever have to take off. But just so you know, if you noticed earlier, before Sam infiltrates the camp, the mule's camp in the demo, he drops his packages off somewhere where they can't detect it, because that's how they find out where you are. They can't detect you, they can detect the packages because there's some kind of sensor in it. That's kind of dope. And apparently later on, we get our own official Bridges trucks. If you saw in the demo, when Sam ran next to the truck, jumped the dude, threw him out the truck, A-Town stomped him, took the truck and drove off. I mean, that was some wild gangster stuff. That was some GTA some real GTA where you can really take the truck and you can put packages in there, and you can use it as another means of transporting packages, and obviously the trucks can carry a lot. So that'll be nice when we get the real Bridges trucks, because I might have to use it a few times, although I feel like it could also slow you down. Who knows? 'em, you also get an extensive look at the BTs. When he walks into this abandoned city that's all jacked up and you see the rainfall coming down, which is also timefall, that's what it's really called. You see it coming down and you see that on the screen there will be droplets of rain on the screen, and that actually detects BTs being close or nearby, because always if you see timefall, it means BTs are around or they're going to show up in one way or another. Now there are different kinds of BTs. There are these ones that float, the ones that we've seen probably the most of. those are called gazers. Okay, they can't see you, you cannot see them. They are from the other side, so they are from the dead side, but they can't see you, but they can hear you. So the other things that come up from the ground that you've seen, from the tar where it looks like hands and people climbing up to get you, those are called hunters. Remember in the part where Higgs takes his mask, puts it in the tar, and everybody starts grabbing up like that, and those are a bunch of hunters. Those hunters, when they catch you, they grab you and they pull you and take you to a catcher. That is what that big ass lion thing was that Higgs summoned. That is a catcher. Now I feel like that was a super catcher, because as you can see in this gameplay, the catcher didn't look as big as the one that we saw with Higgs, but maybe it's just the camera angles thing and a trailer situation. But I feel as though that could give us a little bit more insight too into what Higgs is, because obviously he's the leader of the Homo Demon Separatist group. But that mask that he has, whatever equipment he has, must be special because he can control the BTs in one way or another. Now I don't know if he's controlling them at their own will or he's actually just connected with them in that way, shape, or form. We don't know, and Cliff is still a big question mark, but he does have cables that they talked about that he connects to his dead undead army. Now I know what y'all are thinking. The $1 million question is, how the hell do I fight these damn things? Well, in the demo, apparently they can be hurt by physical things such as the bola gun. So like the bola gun is that gun that we saw when they used it on the mules, and later on they used it on the BTs, is that gun that shoots out this electrical current. What is it? Electrical current. It must be a wire of some kind that it shoots out, and it incapacitates the person or BT by tying it up, but it has an electrical current that goes through it, so it must be some kind of wire that can conduct electricity. But the difference is that you can actually hurt BTs with it, but the difference is you have to actually mix the ammo with Sam's blood. So that gives us insight as to why the hell we carry around blood bags. I mean, also it's to refill our blood because you do lose blood in the game. That also helps you to know that's how you fight the BTs. You need to, at least that's how you fight the gazers anyways. We didn't see him fight the hunters. It didn't look like he had stood much of a chance. And when he got to the catcher though, he did beat the catcher, so I don't know. But there's a lot of things. Grenades and ammo does help you fight the catchers as well. So that is, you know, how you fight them. You have to mix it with your blood, the ammo with your blood. Maybe the grenades have to be mixed with your blood as well. I don't think Kojima said that, but I assume that's what you'd have to do. So that's another thing. So that is the BTs. Now remember, the bridge baby was a baby that was spawned from a still mother. So the mother is dead and the baby is alive, the thing that's on his chest, which is also on Higgs' chest. That baby can kind of detect when there are BTs around. It starts to get stressed out, and it's hard for the baby to do anything because when it's stressed out, it can't really do anything. It's incapacitated almost. Another thing that shows up when the rainfall comes are these chiral crystals. They're also from the other side, and they're used to power your floaters. So you can pick them up when you see rainfall areas. You can pick them up and store them, and they're used to power your floaters, and you can build highways, is what Kojima said with them. Now we also found out in this demo what that thing on his shoulder is, that thing that looks like a grapple that kind of opens and closes. It's called an Ordex Society. It shows you the directions of BTs, like where they are in relation to you, and it's interesting because when you move, the BTs disappear, like the gazers. Like you can't see them when you move, but if you're close enough and you're not moving, you can see them, but as soon as you start to move, they disappear. So you have to keep that in mind because you have to strategically find your way around the BTs, or you can fight them, like I said, with the bola gun, but maybe you don't want to get involved with all that. It really depends. It'll be up to you. So long story short, BTs equals big problems, so go about that wisely. The good thing is that later on in the game, if you connect enough preppers and you have enough connections physically, then you'll be able to see what areas there is going to be an overcast of timefall, and you can try to avoid them Johns, but there are going to be missions where you can't, so yeah. Now just to give y'all a little bit more on the BTs, or the catchers in particular, is that if you get eaten by a catcher, you void out. So that means you create that big crater that we've seen in trailers and in pictures. That's where that comes from. Problem with that is if you are fighting one of these creatures in a city that's abandoned, or that's not really abandoned, there's probably people around somewhere that you're trying to reconnect. If you create that crater there, that city goes away. So even when you come back, it won't be there anymore, which is a real problem. So I'm sure that's gonna be something that people really are gonna have to make a decision about whether or not you want to fight or run. And if you're gonna fight, you better win. Well, at least that's what I was taught when I was fighting those dudes in the parking lot at night. I'll just show y'all.
瑠璃さん Fighting not good. But if must fight, win.
I'm just saying. Now, the white Sam that we saw who was throwing him things where he was like, I could use some help, was actually another online player. So when you do that, that means an online player can choose whether or not they want to help you by giving you grenades or a gun or ammo, which I think is pretty cool. We've never seen that in any other game, so that would be pretty awesome. And what's weird too is that one of the other things that Sam was actually fighting the catcher with was his waste products. I don't know why they did that, because that's nasty. But apparently it was stuff from his shower water, like things like his shower water. I don't know what it is. I guess these creatures can't handle anything that comes from humans, because if you're fighting with blood and or waste products, that's gonna be interesting to uncover. But ew. The direct quote from Kojima referring to the white Sam that was helping you out was, "You are alone, but you are not fighting alone. That is another online player that you are connected to. That is the Strand." So, remember when he was talking about creating a whole new genre of video games? Well, he wants that genre to be called the Strand genre, which, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty dope. Like, I hope one day I create a new genre of something called something like that. The pro tip he gave us for fighting these catchers is to stay on high ground and to keep your feet out of the tar, because it makes it much harder. And just so y'all know, part of this is just some bullshit, because apparently the catcher that we saw him fighting in the 50-minute gameplay was one of the weaker ones. Like, really? Like, this right here is one of the weaker ones? That's some bullshit. Apparently, also, when you beat one of these catchers, they dissipate or disintegrate, or whatever you want to call it, into chiral crystals, which makes me believe that these chiral crystals must be really important to get for one reason or another. I mean, obviously we know it fuels the floater and you can build highways, but I wonder what else you could do, because if you're getting it after fighting that nonsense, something's got to be special about that. Now the last thing that I want to talk about is really just the recharging springs, the hot springs. In the 50-minute gameplay, we saw him go into the recharging spring, which was that orange hot spring. And in that one, it recharges your battery while it also helps you rest, because after an encounter like that with a catcher, regular things aren't going to, like just resting, like just sleeping isn't going to do it. That's what Kojima said, so you're going to have to find a hot spring. Now I say that one because apparently there are a bunch of different kinds of hot springs in this game. There are ones that are, they're the recharging springs, but there are apparently hot springs that are good for your organs. Some are good for your skin, and there's apparently even a milk hot spring, so we'll see what that does. Maybe that one's good for your bones, who knows. But that's pretty cool. And like the rest of the stuff we talked about in this game, you can put up a sign to let other players know that there's a hot spring there, in case they end up in the same kind of encounter you did. So that's pretty dope, and that feeds more into the whole Strand game genre. But that's all I really have. You know, that's the breakdown. That's my understanding of this 50-minute gameplay and Death Stranding as a whole. I appreciate y'all watching this. If you like it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate y'all for watching it till the end. I'm really excited for this game, like I said at the end of all my videos, and I hope y'all are too. And I think we're gonna get something cool, and if we really do get a Strand game genre created because of this one game, that's gonna be kind of wild. And Kojima already hinted at the fact that he's probably already working on a sequel, and this one hasn't even came out yet. So that's tough, but I'm gonna catch y'all later. Love y'all. You know, come back for the next video. I'm still gonna break down the 30-minute one and react to it. I'm a little late, but it's cool or whatever. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. Peace.